Okay, bass heads. It's OG Soda Pop Kid coming to you direct, which is my motto. Alright, just want to touch up on some things, man. It's been nice out here with this weather for the last few days. Today is 87 degrees and I'm just now getting out of the house. You know, had to get me some rest, you know what I mean, yada, yada, yada. Just to touch up on some things. These 320s has been doing good. I just had to get out there and run them, you know what I mean, and drive around and run them and street beat on them and all of that. And they've been doing their thing. So technically, since I just started using the small cases, because I was used to using big case alternators. When I had the 320 big cases, they was like, it took me a minute to get used to how they operate. Then I went back to the 220s for a while. You know what I mean? But the 320s, since I've gotten back used to them, they've been doing their thing pretty much, man. I know that, like I showed y'all before, I had them up at like 16 volts. And driving around like that, because this is an old school car, and you can drive around like that with this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they've been doing their thing. I've been beating on them all yesterday. It was warm. You know what I mean? They've been doing their thing. So I'm pretty much feeling them. So I'm just gonna get a couple extra backups so I can have, if these things, you know, if something goes wrong with them, you know what I mean, I can throw another one in while I'm sending the other one back. Pretty much. I'm down in the unit. I got the fans on though. I got the doors shut too, so these fans is doing their thing. They're feeling good, man, blowing on me. I'm down here. I'm making some new adjustments, people. And I got some things to talk about because yesterday, you know, when I put some videos up on YouTube, I had asked a question. I even put that same video up on Facebook. Okay, and I asked a question. The slope on the bass in the radio. 6 dB per octave, 12 dB per octave, 18 or 24. I was asking, I was hearing voices coming out of my subs, and I had asked a question like, how do I get the voices out of my subs? And only one dude answered that. It goes to show me how many people really know what they're talking about, especially when they come up on your post and start talking a bunch of yin-yang, like they know it all. But they don't. I asked a simple question, and one dude on YouTube came up on there and said, hey man, put it on 18 to 24 dB per octave to get rid of the voices coming out of your subwoofers. One guy. Just one guy. And I told you that I don't know everything. I know what I know. If I don't know something, I'll just come out and admit it, man. I'm an honest dude. I don't wear masks. You know what masks are? Masks is what people wear. Well, we use it in a term for people. Let me wipe this stuff off of my doggone amps, bro. I got to bring my blower down here and blow my amps and stuff off, blow the dust off. Mask in church, like in church, we use that for people that come to church, but they don't praise God. They come to church and they don't believe Jesus is the Son of God. They come to church because they feel if they just come to church, they're going to heaven when they die. If they just show up, all I got to do is show up. I ain't got to have a prayer life. I ain't got to give God no attention whatsoever, like he don't want no attention. I ain't got to do none of that. You know, I'll just show up on Easter Sunday, which we call Resurrection Day, the day that Jesus was resurrected from the grave, that died for our sins, that died for all the dirt. I'm not trying to give y'all no Bible lesson. I'm just saying for all the Christians that are Christians, there's people that just show up at church sometimes, and they feel they go sin every day, all week, all month, all year, and show up on Easter, and I'm good. And they come in church and they act nice. They act like they care. They act like they're concerned about people, but they're really not, because they'll act good while they're there, but when they walk out of there, the mask falls off and shatters right on the ground. And they go back to being what they've been before they rolled up in there. That's what we call wearing a mask. You know, and these guys, I'm just using that as an example. These guys in car audio wear masks like they know everything, and I know who knows what they know. I know who know, and I know who don't. You know, so I don't wear masks. I don't pretend like I know everything because I don't know everything. I don't know everything in pop locking. I've been pop locking since 1981. But what I do know, as far as an art form and a dance, is, as far as I'm concerned, is being an OG, somebody that's been doing this before a lot of these kids is doing it now has been born. Okay? I'm what you call a traditional, authentic, foundational, old school pop locker, which means I'm about foundation. The foundation in which the dance, when it was created, what guys were doing. That comes with waving, popping, in which they call hitting as well, king tutting, animating, roboting, locking, down stopping, air posing, floats and slides, strutting. What did I not name? A twisto flexing and spinning and all of this stuff, backsliding and all of that. All of this stuff that I just mentioned, which California is the birthplace of pop locking. The birthplace. Like New York is the birthplace of breaking and graffiti and DJing and spinning records and scratching and mixing and MCing, which the elements of. Okay? I mean, I'm a traditional, foundational pop locker. I'm all about foundation, man. There's a foundation in everything. Basketball, football, wrestling, hockey, soccer, golf. There's a foundation in all of this. I'm very foundational, and I'm strict about it. So I don't tell nobody how to dance, but I watch these new jack poppers, and I watch their foundation. And when I get around certain ones, I know that they look at me, well, this is the last thing I'm going to say to you. I'm 61 years old, and even though I've been in 4 car crashes, okay, I've been shot in the back. Back in 1991, I got shot in the back. Okay, I fell backwards into a 6-foot pit and all of that. All I can to say to y'all is I thank God that I'm still able to walk, let alone dance. I'm still out here dancing at my age. You know what I mean? Y'all better hope, and I mean this, man. Y'all better hope that when y'all get into y'all 50s and that you can still walk up steps and down steps and still go to the bathroom, let alone dancing, man, or playing sports. And I mean that. Y'all better think about that when y'all go to bed, bro. Because some of y'all may not be able to do all of that by the time you're my age, man. I got sciatic nerve pain from standing since 1987, cutting hair for long hours. Man, I go through 10 to 12 heads on the days that I'm open per day. Sometimes it's slow. It's not always busy. You know what I mean? But I've been standing for that many years till now, cutting hair and doing the same repetitious movements. That's why I got arthritis in my shoulder and sciatic nerve pain, spinal stenosis, and I'm still dancing and stuff. Y'all need to respect that because y'all may not get the same blessing, bro. You understand? I'm not playing. Y'all think I'm playing. I'm not playing. When I go out there and start popping and waving and tutting and ticking and spinning and doing all the stuff I do, you look at that as a blessing. I look at that as a blessing from God, man, because I could just as well be in a wheelchair. You get it? Get it. Okay, now I'm going to go back to this. But some of y'all dudes is arrogant, man. You think your ass don't stink, dude. Please don't let me have to tell you it don't. Because you're not going to like me and I'm not going to care because you don't pay my bills. You don't put food on my table. You know what I mean? And a lot of you so-called Christians, you know, I tell people none of us is perfect. We're not robots. You don't become a Christian and become a robot. If God wanted robots, he would have made us robots. Now, he made the angels. They're perfect, but they don't, they have a, what can I say? I might as well make this a Bible lesson. They have we have a free will. They have a free will as well. Now, a pastor once told me that the angels don't have a free will. Yes, they do. Because if they didn't, Satan would not have rebelled against God. He didn't want to be like God. He wanted to be God. You get it? It's why he's in the position he's in. He wanted to be God. He wanted to take over God's throne. It's like a 5-year-old taking over his mom and dad's house. It's never going to happen. Come on. It's just common sense. But just common sense, man. It's what I'm saying here. We're not robots, man. We're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. I mean, we're paying the God that created us attention, man. Don't you think he want to be loved like everyone else? And there's people out there that don't love God, don't even believe he exists, believe in a higher being. That nonsense. You know, they believe in evolution. So why aren't we still evolving? Huh? Why aren't we still evolving? If we come from apes, what's up with the apes that are still apes? How come they were unlucky? Huh? What was a horse before it was a horse? What was a dog before it was a dog? Huh? Why aren't we still evolving since that's where we come from? And the guy that created it, that came up with that evolution, from what I was told when he was on his deathbed, he admitted that he lied. But some of y'all still believing, right? Okay, now let's go back. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I'll drop stuff, hit my head. How many times have I hit my head off of this? Okay? How many times have I hit my head off of that hood? Well, come Monday, you know, my man Ben Hank and me, we're going to fix that. We're going to make it to where we can lift it up as high as it used to be able to lift, and this as well. Because I've hit my head off of here many of times, man, going in this trunk, doing this. You feel me? Okay. Now, this hobby is forever, us guys, man, like race car drivers, they're forever messing with their engine, trying to get that quarter mile and however many seconds they take to do it, man. I'm not a race car driver, okay? We'll be forever under here, especially if we're chasing numbers. Now, if I just was a street beater, I like the best of both worlds. I like punchy and low bass. I just don't care for my bass going to 20 and 15 and 10 and 3 hertz. I like both worlds. Both worlds. The best of both worlds, okay? All right, I'm going to get back down here because I asked a question and one guy came up on YouTube and I went and thanked him for it because I was always wondering what that octave, that slope thing was. Always. And I always would just put it on 6 at one point. There's times I jumped around it to see what it sounded like while I had my music playing. I would just hop to him to see how the music would change, how it would sound. And I would leave it on 6 and then I jumped to 12. And then he was like 18 to 24. I didn't know that my Kenwood went to 24, minus 24. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it did that. Okay, and I was asking, you know. And so I went and asked one of the guys that I asked. And I'm not going to tell you his name because years ago he told me, hey, soda, don't give nobody my name because y'all will blow. When y'all realize that he know what he's talking about, you will go into his inbox and start bothering him. And he don't want to be bothered all like that. So I'll just say his name is Dom, and I'll keep it there, Dom. That's it. I won't tell you nothing else. I know if I really need to know something about settings or something or a cubic foot, I can go ask him. He's one of the dudes I can go and just inbox him and ask him, and he'll just give me the answer, boom. Or a couple answers, boom. You know what I mean? And boom, boom, boom. I know more people can answer that. It gives me, and I won't give you their names either because I don't know. They don't usually come up on comments and say anything. And I know why they don't, because they'll get worn out. I get asked questions and I answer them the best of my knowledge. And if I don't know, I was like, listen, bro, you got me on that one. You got me on that one, bro. I don't know. Because I don't know everything. Okay, period. I probably don't have all of this set to perfection like I would like to with what I'm using as subs and all of that. Because if I go and give Dom, well, he can go on a website and find out what the subs do himself. And then he can say, well, what cubic foot you got him in, soda? And I can tell him, and he'll probably go and say, all right, but I did that with Lucas at Resilient Sounds. I gave him all my, what I have him in. He's the one that designed those speakers, bro. Okay, I can ask him, but I can ask Dom because he'll go right into it, man. Okay. On the way that they sound, when I put them on 24 dB per octave, they sound cardboardy. Like, Yeah, the voices was gone. The voices wasn't in them, but they're cardboardy. Like a certain notes they hit in there, like boom, 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 like a cardboard. And I thought that I might have heard a couple of them when I was demoing yesterday. And yesterday was nice, man, because I did like 5 demos. 5 demos yesterday, man. Like they were coming out the woodwork. I went down to Vance. One of the managers ran out and got one. You know what I mean? Scott, another guy, Derek, came out and got one from Advance. As soon as he got to work, he came outside. You know what I mean? There was this dude, I got that videoed him. One dude came and got something. He was leaving, and I had the trunk open, and he was riding by, and he stopped. And I was wondering why he stopped like that and was looking. And he was like, hey, how many watts is that? He was looking at what I'm showing you. And I was like, I don't know, around 90, 80, right about 90, 80. Last I did 77,900 watts and some change on the last contest, and it was cold out there. Okay? All right, I reset them. I reset these yesterday up at your neighborhood mechanic, because once I put it on 24 dB per octave, what happened is the AC volts shot all the way up to 125, almost 126 AC volts. It went up. So I brought it back down to 105. 105, like, it's weird. It's like 106, 1, it jumps back and forth from 105.9 to 106. They hop. Okay, so I turned them back to that, and then I started doing demoing immediately with one of the mechanics, Julio, at your neighborhood mechanic. He was the last one mechanic that didn't get a demo. I threw him in and started going in automatically. Okay, so I have line drivers in here too. I've always used these. I'm going to get in here. That's why I got the light on in here, y'all. And someone on YouTube said I'm always showing. I show the subs, bro, whoever you are. I think I did hit him up and say, I show the speakers. Go look, dude. I got so many videos, bro. Go on the channel. Resilient sounds, 9 of these. I like these, dude, I do. But I want to get them to sound the way I want them to sound. Okay, so these are the Hiphonics HF EQs. I've been using these for quite a while. I got one, especially for the doors, that's on the top, and one on the bottom is for the subs. So I can shut this one off if I want to see this button right here. If I want to just hear the subs or I'm doing something that I don't want, when I'm setting my AC volts on the sub, I just push this button in and it'll turn it off. Okay, so on the sub part, okay, let me see if I can get this close enough. This where it says sub bass, that one in the mids. Okay, I'm wondering if that does affect the subwoofer. The highs part, I got them shut off, and it affects the highs as well. So I'm not thinking that the sub bass and the mid bass is also getting into the subs as well. I don't think that this actually separates them, or separates them from each other, because it does have a sub volume right there, a sub volume and a regular volume right there. Now keep in mind the bottom one is for the subs. Okay. So, and then on top of them, it has volumes on top of them as well. So these are 9-volt line drivers with they're 9-volt line drivers with 4-band, with a 4-band graphic equalizer, just 4 bands. Now the ones that I just ordered the Stetsom. It's called the EQX764s. I just ordered 2 of them. They'll be here tomorrow. I'm going to replace these. I've always believed in these here because I actually have 5 of these. I have 3 more of them at the house, and I'm going to end up selling them. I always like these because they do 9 volts. Now the EQXs 764s, they're 10 volt, and it says they go anywhere from 9 volt to 16 volts. So them things must be monsters, but they do not have where you set the volume. These are like little amplifiers. They got the volume sets on the top where you can just set the volume. And you know, they have them, and those don't have them on the top of them. But if they say they do 9, but they probably do it as you turn these knobs. They're 7-band— so they have more on them. But I'm feeling that they actually separate the sub from the rest of this stuff. Okay? And they have a volume, you know, a sub volume and a frequency, a volume and a frequency. So now when I put them in, I'm going to have to go back there and redo my AC volts is what's going to have to happen. But that 24 dB per octave, I had it set the LPF on 80 hertz. I have it turned off on the amps. I'm not using none of that on the amps at all. Okay? And I have it turned off on the amps. I had it at 80 hertz. Well, it was at 100 hertz by accident on 24 dB per octave, and it was sounding cardboardy. Especially when you turn that sub bass right there and the mid bass. Whenever you turn those two, that's when it'll start sounding different. It'll start sounding real punchy when you turn those, if I can use that as an example. You know what I mean? It puts the real crazy punch in with those. You know what I mean? So I tried backing off of those to get that cardboard out of there. Now, I've used the American bass EQs as well. I've used those before and tested them. And I like those. I do like them because what that does is it doesn't put that crazy punch in. There's a 7-band as well. I don't put that crazy punch in. That makes everything play lower, to be honest with you. That American bass makes it play lower. And for some odd reason, I wanted to punch back in there, so I took them out. And then the way I would set those is I would turn the volume all the way up and then go back to the amps and set the AC volts then, because they don't, like these things do. These things, every time you turn them, they click. They'll stop. These two right there, they'll stop. Those just free turn. And with all the vibration and stuff in there, I felt that they may not stay at their setting. As a matter of fact, every one of these knobs free turn. I mean, they click to click to click. That's what I like about these too, because you can turn them up one and then go back there and see what the AC volts say when you turn them up one or turn them down one. The AC volts will change. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm afraid of with those EQXs, because I did get to hold them and see them when I went out to Brazilian Sounds. And they're a lot smaller than these. They're about as wide as these, but they're only something like 3 inches deep. They're like real shallow. And I like them because of that too, because they don't take up a lot of room. See what I'm saying? So, yeah. I get them tomorrow and I can't wait to see what they sound like. So that's the reason why I come back down here now. I was told by Dom, I asked him, what dB per octave should I put him on? But I think the cardboardy sound either came from him being on 100 hertz. I turned him down to 80, and he would say turn him down to 70 or 60. Now, you really don't have to have him on 80 because I don't play nothing 80 hertz or 70 hertz technically. Probably not even 60 hertz. He was like, if you turn it down to 70 hertz and put him on 24 dB per octave, or turn him down to 60 and put him on 18. You know, so I think the cardboardiness comes from the mid bass and the sub bass, I think. Because when I turn them up, you can hear them in the doors too. It changes the sounds of the doors as well. That's why I have them separate like that. Which I'm going to do the same thing with the EQXs. I'm going to give one dedicated to the doors and one dedicated to just the subs. Because that's how I do, man. You know? So far I am liking the Stetsom Bravo HQ 800.4s. I'm liking them so far. But I do got to make a couple adjustments on them to get them superb, you know? Because I go into my radio and do only so much. But I do not use the EQ in my radio. That's one thing I don't. But what I need to do is unhook those and then go straight from the sub to the EQs and there and see how much different they're going to sound compared to these. Technically, because I'm curious. But I'm going to drop it. I'm going to go from 80 to 70 and go to the 18 dB per octave and that and see if I can get that cardboard sound out of them when they're playing. Because there's a certain sound and it's a high pitch. It's like, when they hit certain notes, it goes, You know what I mean? And then you can hear the subs not like that. Because they go, kunk, 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 and it sounds like cardboard. I was like, nah, I don't like that, bro. So when I had them on 6 dB and 12 dB, they didn't do that so hard. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't wait to make those adjustments because I'm ready to make an adjustment and then go back. When I dropped it down to 70, go back there and see where the AC volts landed after doing that. And I know they're going to go downward. You know what I mean? They're going to go downward when that happens. They're going to go down. So that's what I wanted to rant about or discuss. But I know who to go to, man, because I know everybody don't know everything they rant about, bro. So I'm back here. All right. So I got 2 more videos to put up. I was putting up video after video, and I know that gives y'all a lot to watch. And it seems like cats will go on the videos that they like the most, and then they'll hit the comments on those particular ones. Okay? So, yeah. I'm thinking about pulling this out. It's like 87 out there, and I just pulled it. I might just back it out and listen to it. Back it out and listen to it. Because I demoed like 5. Yeah, I did 5 demos yesterday. Yep, 5 demos. 2 up at the mechanic shop. And then I came to Advanced Auto Parts, and they was coming out the woodwork. They was coming out the woodwork, man, and I went in. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's on that. So, I'm going to end this. There was something else I was going to talk about. Oh, I was going to talk about this hobby being expensive as it is, man. This isn't an expensive hobby, and I was not going to compete this year, but I'm going to win me some more trophies. I said that I would try to get to 1,000 trophies, and I would be done technically going into competition. I'd just be a demo guy. And I caught myself doing this stuff again, bro. And this stuff is expensive. It is. And no matter how cheap you try to be, even budget can be expensive. When you're doing budget, it can be expensive as well, because when you're trying to buy everything that you want. When I was running Mofo and Landslord, yes, that stuff was budget, man, but I was buying more speakers and trying to get better and louder, and then it became not crazy expensive, but expensive. You know what I mean? It just, and, I could have just brought a bigger vehicle and just kept packing it with Mofo 12. Kept packing it with 12s and SPL amps, and it would have been budget. I wouldn't have been hardly spending as much as I'm spending now. And I'd have been loud because, like I said, when I had 8 Mofo 12s and 8 SPL amplifiers, I was at a 53.7. Even when I dropped down to 6 amps and 6 subs, I was at a 160, no, my fault, a 153.7. Sealed Outlaw, windows up, doors shut. Glass on the windshield. Glass on the windshield. When I start realizing that being in the kick was louder, that was like a dB to a dB and a half gain right there if I would have known better. I might not have left Mofos if once I would have hit 156s and stuff like that. Or I may have left them specifically to get louder like I did. Like I would have went to another sub with being louder in mine automatically. If you understand where I'm coming from. So that's on that note, people. I'm at that. So I'm gonna get up off here, man. I hope y'all got some knowledge out of this, dude. Okay? So it is your old boy, your boy, the OG Soda Pop Kid, coming to you direct. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Peace, people. I'm out.